What is up? We are your Colorado real estate family, and today hopefully we can answer your question whether or not you should move to Arvada, Colorado.
All right, let's go. All right, if you're new to our channel, Chelsea and Pete here, and if you're interested in moving to Colorado, Denver, or any of the surrounding cities, we're the couple that you need to know. So do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button, notification bell down below. We put out 2 videos a week.
Along those lines, guys, if you are planning on moving into Colorado, licensed real estate agent right here helping out with all your needs. We're constantly helping out so many people just like you who are relocating into Colorado, purchasing that house, that dream home that you've kind of been looking for this whole time. If you are looking to purchase a home in the state of Colorado, give us a phone call on the phone number right below. Right there. You're gonna get us and us only, no one else.
All right, so we're covering a really fun city. Those of you who don't know us, you will learn that this is actually the city that I grew up in, and so...
I grew up here too.
That's true. He was just on the other side of Arvada.
I was closer to the old town, so that popular area that everyone's going to right now.
He was in like the unpopular area when
back in the day. Now it's like crazy popular.
We're actually, so like I was like, I guess northwest Arvada, and you were kind of...
You were in suburbia. I was like in downtown Arvada.
Yeah, that's true. He had easier access.
That's true. He was right next to the highway, and that's kind of where it all started popping. The outlying areas where Chelsea grew up is all the hot spot right now where all that development's happening, which we're going to talk about later on in this video.
Okay, so when you're talking about trying to figure out if Arvada's for you, we've had a few clients recently say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at Arvada. So we're like, what a great time to pop in here and kind of show you what's been going on over the last several years. So if you're looking at Arvada as a whole, we have to talk about location. So a lot of people are looking because of location. So we're about 10 miles from Denver.
10 miles, something like that. So you're looking at probably like a 15-minute drive without the traffic. I say 15 to 20-minute drive, depending on whether you're going to like South Arvada or Northern Arvada. Arvada's pretty large, guys, and so depending on which area you're going to, I mean, I'd say like the difference between South Arvada, you look like 15-20 minutes. North Arvada, easily 30 to 45 minutes to get all the way up there.
Yeah, so Arvada is actually the 7th largest city in Colorado, which is crazy to me. I always felt like Arvada was so small, and now it's growing so big. So
well, hold on one second. To give you an idea of how big Arvada has grown, the middle school that I went to was Arvada High School back in the day.
Yeah.
It was a middle school when I went there. Now it's an elementary school. So it's like, and it's a large school. And the fact that they have to accommodate those many kids to make it now an elementary school when before it was a high school, it just shows you how much this place is really growing.
Aren't almost all your schools gone?
She always has to bring up those touchy subjects.
He's always like, oh, that used
elementary
to be my
school, gone.
Oh,
middle school, gone. My high school, demolished.
Hey, my high school was partially demolished. Okay, so the other probably thing that you're interested in is access to the ski slopes. So the closest ski slope from Arvada is an hour. Now, we talk about this a lot because a lot of people come here for our beautiful mountains and, you know, the winter and all of that. And so we talk about the ski slopes a lot. You can go up there in the summertime as well. We have a lot of fun. We just went up to Vail. It was so much fun. But the good thing about Arvada is the south part of Arvada actually touches one of our major interstates, which is I-70 going from east and west. And so you don't don't have all of that kind of maneuvering to get down to I-70 because it actually touches the city of Arvada.
Yep.
Now, if you're in northern Arvada, you would obviously take 93 or Indiana and go hop over to like 58th or I-70 and kind of cut across as
and
well.
Just a quick note, if you want to take the scenic route up to the mountains, you just go down to Golden and then ride Clear Creek all the way through. You got some awesome mountains on both sides. A lot of the times you'll see people who are rock climbing up and in there. So on top of the scenic stuff, who knows, maybe you get to see some people rock climbing, which is, I always think it's super fascinating. I personally always wanted to rock climb, never did, and so I kind of envy those guys who are actually doing it in mountains right now.
Yeah, so it's talking about location, because of all of those, being at the foothills and having all those extracurricular activities, I do think location is prime for people moving into the city and might be one of the main reasons you actually choose Arvada. So let's get into the...
Did you hear that? Someone just launched a rocket next to us. That's kind of cool.
I wonder what they're doing.
Do you remember doing that in school? I don't know if you did. I don't know how old or anything, but I remember we always launched rockets in middle school. It was amazing. And whoever's rocket went the highest, you like got a piece of candy or something.
Not just the candy, the small things. We're actually standing at Stinger Fields, which, guys, I'm standing, literally standing before the new field lines and all of that, where I used to practice at 4 years old, which is crazy because there's like a paved parking lot now, which was gravel, and like we used to go through in like my neighbor's van, and it was just like you could hardly see out the windows because it was all gravel, and we were like late to practice. But like it's just so crazy.
Can you guys tell that we actually have a past in Arvada? Because
Arvada
we keep side noting it. We're like, oh man, remember that one time we did this, and then that, and then it's just
memory lane for us. And now we are being biased, but we're also not. We are the couple that will tell you the good and the bad. So don't think that we're like so biased that you're not going to get all information, because it's changed a lot in some not so good ways. So, okay, let's get into the second reason that you want to kind of evaluate whether or not Arvada's for you this year, next year, these coming years when you're moving to Colorado, and that is housing. The big question a lot of our clients ask is, well, what's going on in Arvada? What are the home prices like? You know, is it affordable? All of those things. So talk to us a little bit about sales price and all of that.
Yeah, so the median sales price, and we're talking August of 2022, even though right now we're currently in September's almost over.
Oh my gosh,
it's almost
flying.
October. We'll get the September numbers soon, but right now we're talking about August 2022. You got a median sales price of $605, which is actually down just a little bit. I think it's 4.98% down from July to August. You're down almost 5%, and then the last 3 months it's actually down a little over 6%. The big thing you might be thinking is right now a great time to move into Arvada? Because we've had a few comments from you guys saying, guys, over $500,000 in median sales price is super high compared to some of these other states. Yes, but right now what we are experiencing is there isn't as much buyer competition going on the market, and I think it's because interest rates definitely affected that, right? If you have higher interest rates, people don't have as much buying power. They're not buying houses. They're like, you know what, maybe I hold off, see what happens next year, the year after. I don't know, but right now I can tell you that all the buyers are helping out, majority of them being from YouTube right here, are having a great time buying a house because they don't have any competition whatsoever.
Yeah, so talking about interest rates, where are we at? So we're about like low sixes, or around that area. Again, shop around for your lender. Anytime we give you lender recommendations, we always say shop around, figure out what's best for you. But we are getting projections.
Another rocket.
Another what?
Rocket.
Oh. He's such a boy over here. He's like, it's like squirrel.
Smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel.
I shouldn't have said a boy.
Guys, I love you and I love recording, but there's a little inner child inside of me that wants to go play and do that rocket with them. So
I'm so glad you have a boy. Okay. I'm like, I don't really care about the rocket. Okay, so interest rates. We're seeing that the projections for interest rates are going to go up. Like we're hearing 7, 8. Now again, we don't have a crystal ball. We tell you this all the time. I wish we did, because we are investors and that would be amazing. But we don't.
I was thinking back to the Future, right? You know, when he goes into the future and he goes back into the past and back into the future, and he has like the sports playbook and everything. He's just making all this cash, and kind of wish I could do that sometimes in real estate.
So do I. I wish you could do that too. Okay, but yes, we're expecting those interest rates to go up. So we are seeing people like, wow, we have a dip in prices and we are expecting interest rates to go up. So is the time now to buy? I would say yes.
Make me believe it. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah!
The third thing that we want you guys to kind of evaluate when deciding if Arvada's for you, and that is the development. So I want to give you kind of a lay of the land, because it's my city.
She's claiming it.
I'm claiming it. Claim. kind of what Arvada feels like. Okay, so Arvada used to be like very suburbia and almost like farmland, kind of larger lots, like I'm talking no fences, things like that. And you still will find some of that in Arvada. So you're gonna get a little bit of that. Like we're at Stinger around 58th right now, and in between like Kipling and Ward. So west of Ward right here is gonna kind of still be like a little bit of those farmland homes and things like that. When you start getting into the northwest side of Arvada, you're going to see all those new builds that we talk about. Layden, Candelas, Five Parks, things like that. If you haven't actually checked out our neighborhoods video for Arvada, go check it out. We are definitely due to get some updates in those areas, but that'll kind of give you kind of that newer area of Arvada. Now, when you're looking at, you know, the center of Arvada is still very typical for the older homes, older suburbia, and then you start getting over to that, let's see, I'm going to get all my directions right. My center, kind of like southeast area of Arvada, which is Old Town, which we're seeing a ton of change. So talk a little bit about the development there.
Yeah, so if there's one thing that you've noticed about Colorado, I'm mainly talking about like the outlying areas of Denver, is there's a ton of scrapes. There's a bunch of brand new duplexes and such going up, all these massive like modern style housing. Arvada isn't really having much of that. I think there's a lot of things in place where they want to keep that old kind of like farmhouse style of house in and around Old Town Arvada. And so what we're seeing is a lot of pop tops. We're seeing a lot of additions, not so much so many scrapes. And actually we were driving through today, I didn't see a single scrape. The only like new modern style developments that we're seeing are the ones that were fields before, right? That way you didn't have that historical style house that people are then converting, and they're actually badass looking. I prefer like the pop top with the addition opposed to a scrape, because it's just, I mean, you could bring that character back into it and then still kind of keep it a little bit newer.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. When we were driving through, it still looked like Old Town Arvada. They just put a bigger house on the same lot, and so they kept all of those characteristics. I think that was a really good way to describe it, because it still feels like Old Town Arvada over there.
Oh yeah, it does.
Now, Old Town Arvada has changed a lot. You used to be able to drive through all of that, and you know, you could still walk it, had the walkability, but after COVID and just some changes, you know, the walkability has increased significantly. They shut down streets, they painted them, like it's just so different than it was when we were growing up. But it's hot over there because the light rail. We actually have another light rail station in Arvada, off of Ward.
Arvada Ridge, I believe it's called.
Okay, off of Ward, which, we just drove by this and it about blew my mind, because I have this emotional tie to the Jolly Rancher factory, because I used to drive south on Ward. I know it's silly, but I swear I still smelled it. I swear I still smelled it.
You could smell it as you were driving through.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I felt like I still smelled it today, which is a problem. That's so emotional. But like, going south on Ward, it used to be the Jolly Rancher factory on the left-hand side, and you would try to guess what the flavor was, or I don't even know if they did multiple, but we thought they only did one a day, so we used to try to guess. But that's all development now. Like, all development. It's insane.
Well, it's right around the light rail station, and like we've talked about so many times, anywhere you have a light rail station, it's going to blow up. You're going to get that more dense community kind of going in and around it, so that anyone commuting down to Denver, they could be right next to a light rail station.
We're gonna get yard people, because it's like what we do.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's what we do.
We were on a streak. We were on a streak for the longest time. No landscape people whatsoever this year. And I think this guy's gonna break it for us.
I know. I mean, it's like, I feel like people who've been watching us for long enough, you know it's gonna happen. It's just when in the video. Okay, we're gonna plow through it, because we're not gonna let it distract us this time, because we've been doing this too long and we don't, more authenticity. Okay, so really though, with Arvada, there's not that many areas to build in the inner city. It's really going to be west, a little bit of actually the southwest area, and then northwest. And so that's where a lot of our development is, unless they're completely demolishing certain areas and then building there. But really the open space area, that's really gonna be on the west side of town. And that's about it, right? I mean,
so the area that you have, that Arvada Ridge station, it used to be like a light industrial area, so that's where you kind of found all your contractors and such over there. They're tearing those down, and that's where they're putting up those row home kind of townhouse style houses right near that light rail station. Yeah,
I think Ward is definitely going to be changing from industrial to this new kind of hot area, which is insane. Okay, so let's get into the fourth thing to consider about Arvada, and that is the weather with Arvada. So Arvada is nestled into the foothills. So what does that mean for Arvada?
It means more snow. It means a little bit more severe weather. And so we live in Thornton. We've talked about this so many times. So we're on the east side of I-25, a little further north. There's so many times where our family, because we have family that lives down here in Arvada, they're like, hey, did you see that rainstorm that we just got, or that huge snowstorm? We're like, I don't see.
It's really sunny.
I don't see it. We've got blue skies. So being on that front range, you are getting a little bit more severe weather when we are talking about those snowstorms. Rain, I mean, I love rain. Who doesn't love rain?
We don't get enough rain to not love it.
I'm sure if it's like monsoon style rain, then you won't like it, you know, for weeks at a time. But a good downpour is like awesome. It's soothing. You open the windows at nighttime and you smell it, and it's
I was just thinking about this summer. We actually had the most rain we've had this summer than we have in a long time.
Seemed like it, yeah.
So yes, as far as the weather goes, you're gonna get a couple more inches here. If we do all get snow, it'll be a little heavier. Sometimes the wind will kind of go down the valley and hit you a little bit, so they'll get some wind drifts. We really see that close to the foothills in certain areas, and then we see that out east. We don't really see that inner city, all that big wind drifts, but we do see it out east, and we do see it kind of along the foothills where it might swoop down and kind of shift some snow. Other than that, Colorado's weather is pretty typical. You just might get some storms over us.
So I was just showing one of you guys this morning. I was driving around doing some showings on houses and stuff like that, and she's like, oh my gosh, I want to be near Four Seasons. I want to experience that, because currently where she's at, it's like summer, mild summer, summer, mild summer. And so we do have the Four Seasons here, but people look forward to that.
Okay, so we've given you 4 things to consider to see if Arvada's for you. The location, we talked about house prices, we talked about all the future development or development that's happened thus far, and we talked about different weather for this city. If you have any questions, or if you have any additional topics that you want us to cover about this beautiful city of Arvada, please comment down below. I
don't know if that's too low or if it's low enough. Whatever.
Such dark. Comment down below. We answer your comments every single day. We try to get back to you within the same day, just so that you guys are being heard. Make sure that your questions are being answered.
And of course, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate in the state of Colorado, we're going to throw that phone number below one more time right there. As I mentioned, you're going to get us, and when I say us, I mean Chelsea.
That's right.
Until next time, we love ya. Bye.
Bye.
How you doing?
Oh, I don't know, chilling. This is gonna be a video that how do I say this?
That's well, wait, is it Cold?
Wait. Yeah.
Cold Creek Canyon?
80th? 80th. Okay, let's go into the third thing that we want you guys to consider if nope. We have shops.
Yeah, like auto shops and stuff.
And we can make sure that your answers
We're gonna find out.